In late stages of HD, is it hard to find a care home to take care of you?
Yes, is the short answer, depending on where you are in the country. We're in California, it is challenging in California to say the least. I will say that patience and persistence is needed throughout your journey of Huntington's disease, but definitely needed in the journey of trying to find long-term placement for your loved ones. It can be hard, it can take a long time, it will probably involve a lot of different emotions, potentially some tears, potentially some F-bombs. There's a whole lot of things that go on when you're trying to find a placement for your loved one. But work with your team and explore all avenues. I like to tell people it can be hard, and then all of a sudden you get somebody that is willing to take your loved one, and it just happens really fast. It is a challenge, just like every other aspect of Huntington's, to be real with you, but there are resources out there, there's teams out there that can help you with places and exploring different state programs or federal programs that you might be eligible for that can help supplement costs and things of that nature. So it is a really difficult part and challenging part of Huntington's disease, but we will find placement. A good placement for your loved ones. What's up, DJ? Hold on just a minute. That said, there are Huntington's specific facilities. Most of them are not here in California. Actually, none of them are here in California. They're all east of the Mississippi. So those states might be a little bit easier to find placement. But again, even in those states that have HD facilities, it's not easy. I think you guys all know nothing about HD is easy.
But I will say that it is even harder if your loved one is younger.
Yes.
A lot of the facilities are very age discriminatory. We have a loved one that has been very difficult to find placement for because he has behaviors associated with Huntington's and he's young. So that makes it even more difficult.
And on the note of being young, only through experience with family, there are waivers. So every care home is licensed to take care of a specific age group. And so sometimes that is 55 and older. And if your loved one is under 55, they are allowed to apply for waivers. You just have to come in knowing that they're allowed to do that and request that they do that, and have somebody behind you, like a social worker, a doctor, someone to help you with that process. But there are ways around it. It just makes it even more difficult than it already is.
I will tell you, there's some experts in this room who I know have gone through this process, some with better success, even with doing everything. And I guess the point is, do your homework. Find out about those waiver programs. I have had families file placement by support group members because somebody had either a really good or a really bad experience. So as much as we can know as social workers, we're not living in those facilities. So think about, if you're thinking about a nursing home, think about the word home. No home is possible without somebody advocating for you. And so get your financial ducks in a row early, plan what you can do, like that ABLE account that you maybe never heard of before, what long-term care insurance, pre-planning that you can do, because once you've been diagnosed, but also go and look and use every one of your senses. I met my first person in 1990 with Huntington's disease in a nursing home. I just went back and visited in April, and it's still in operation. And there are places, but it's work. Lisa reminds me, don't take no for an answer. Show them what you know. Don't show them a disease. Show them who you are, your loved one. You are the team together. And if you bring that humanness in, things can still happen. And we know there are people in this room today and afar that are on virtual who've had terrible experiences. I started my career in nursing homes because I thought I'm going to be a nurse and I'm going to be a social worker. And I've been a family member as well, and I visit people in nursing homes and in assisted living places, so get to know the community and tell them who you are and what you can do.
That's awesome. And another thing to just mention, I don't know if it matters to anyone listening, but if you have a state insurance because the person with HD is of lower income, there are ways to, again, a waiver, but if there's a care home that does not give Medi-Cal and they're more of a private pay, there are some instances where they are supposed to have a one Medicaid bed or one Medi-Cal in our area bed as a ratio, right? You still have to receive one person that has low income to weigh it out to make it a little bit more even or something like that. I'm not really sure of the logistics of that, but there is a waiver sometimes at those care homes, and it's another thing that you can ask about. Okay, next question. Oh, sorry.
It's been my passion. I'm Cosetta Stroud, and it's been my passion for the last 27 years to establish a home for people with Huntington's. But I had to caregiver for my dad, and I did have a home for him in Washington State with my cousin who also has Huntington's. And then I saw the need to have a home in California, but how much are the homes here in California? So I need a lot of help with that. So with that being said, but I feel like 2027 it's got to happen because it's just been too long and I just need everybody's support. My email is cozy, COZIE, CARE @gmail.com. COZIE, cozycare @gmail.com. And your support would truly be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, so doctors, please talk about the tremendous variation in the age of onset in HD, even for people with the same number of CAD repeats.
So that actually ties to the very first question. Is it true that the CAD repeat continues to expand over time? So as we've gotten to know the genetics of Huntington's better, we know that there are other genes that are either on or they're off. They lead to some, explain why. Some people that may have the same CAG or CAG repeats, some may have an earlier onset of symptoms or a later onset of symptoms. And a lot of companies are currently working on trying to address that specific set of genes, the one that can explain why two people with the same CAG repeat or CAG repeat may actually develop symptoms earlier or later. So the answer, I guess the short of it is there are other genes that are contributing and explain why some people may have earlier or later symptoms, and companies are working towards that. If you're curious, it's what we call modifier genes, and there's companies targeting those.
And that's what's inside your body, right? And then there's what you can do, right? So there's the environmental component of this, and I think someone beautifully asked about what can I eat, right? What can I do? And you are all hearing your own superpowers in that way. So again, it goes back to that neurological health, brain health. Those who are, so we think about it classically as exercise, right? Those who are physically active do better. And that's not going to boot camp every day. That's just going out for a walk, right? Just moving, being active in any way that you can. It can be chair exercises, right? It's movement. Then there's what you can eat, right? Making sure that you have a good diet and nutrition. There's social health, making sure that you're socially engaged, right? In your community with your loved ones, because social isolation, we know, is not good for our brain health, right? And then there's also what I think about is memory health or cognitive health, is making sure you do those brain teasers and those things that keep your mind engaged. And all those are really important. And then making sure you avoid the toxic potential injury to the brain.
Beyond that, medical health. You have other things other than AD. Make sure you're keeping up on all your medical needs, because we went years with severe anemia with Jessica, and it caused a lot of atrophy of muscles because she was, thinking that she had progressed so far that she was, chair bound and bed bound. And that wasn't the case. She had severe anemia, she lost a lot of weight, she couldn't eat right, she couldn't function in daily life correctly, and we blew it off as HD progression, and it turned out to be an anemia issue that she could get taken care of with proper medical attention.
That's a beautiful example. So we can blame almost everything or anything on HD, but we cannot blame everything. And so you do need to maintain your general health. You need your annual exam, you need your labs checked, and other things happen, and you need to make sure you keep those in line while managing the Huntington's disease. So thank you for bringing that up.
Just very quickly, I wanted to, on the topic of what are the things that we can do for brain health. So I have our wonderful lab members up in that corner, if you guys can wave. So we actually, Angie Roman, who's one of our undergraduate students, she actually developed a brain health series, and we actually do have them printed that talks about essentially everything that Safra just covered. So if you guys during the break want to stop by, we do have flyers on essentially all the things, exercise, nutrition, and then also staying socially connected.
Can I say one more thing? I've got one of the biggest advocates I've ever met, Christy Figueroa Pettis, in this audience, who's also constantly reminds me about being an advocate for your family member, because we have real cases of people go to the physician's office and it's your Huntington's disease. And so having someone who knows what you're dealing with, who knows about overall health, to be an advocate. And there may be many barriers. It may be financial, it may be cultural, it may be familial. There are lots of reasons people don't get past the door. But finding that person in your circle or in your multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary teams that can help teach you about advocacy, because without that you may not get in and get something like anemia treated, because nobody is there to talk on your behalf.
Thank you.